Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Today, Thursday, the 30th of December, 2021. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight on Synergy Television. Remember, Real Talk is being shown live on Synergy Television from Monday to Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. with a rerun the following day from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So viewers, we thank you for joining us. You know, I always say we are live on Facebook. Go to your Facebook account, type in Real Talk with Saieed Ali. When our page pops up, just like it and share it. Those of you on YouTube, please share our link. Those of you who haven't subscribed to YouTube as yet, please go to YouTube, type in TT Real Talk. When it pops up, just subscribe and you will know when we go live. Now viewers, our page give you updates throughout the course of the day. So it is important to like and share our page. Remember, tomorrow being Friday, it is the 31st of December. Tomorrow is, you know, we normally say in Trinidad, Old Year's Day. Now, we will not have any live show tomorrow, but we will be back here on the 3rd of January 2022. But nevertheless, we give God thanks presently for being here tonight. So viewers, share our live stream, our phone lines are calling tonight, 238-6716. Voice your concerns, voice your opinion of issues that we are dealing with in Trinidad and Tobago. So we want to give God thanks for another year. You know, seeing a year pass by, a lot of incidents that happened in Trinidad and Tobago, you know, but nevertheless, we give God thanks for the sick who are not dead. We give God thanks for the individual who have one leg and not 0 legs. You know, we still give God thanks for the person who have one eye and not completely blind. We still give God thanks. But nevertheless, viewers, you are viewing us live. Our office are located in number 14 Carolina Savannah Road in Shoguners. Remember, Real Talk Group of Company, Financing and Investment Company. From January 3rd, if you have US dollar, we will be giving you 1% on our fixed deposit system at Real Talk Financing and Investment Company. So spread the word. Those of you who have US dollar and you want to open a fixed deposit, is not a problem. We are giving you 1% on your US dollar. Now 1% in Trinidad and Tobago is the highest right now. You know, Real Talk Financing and Investment Company, we topping off everything. In December, you got 2.75%. You know, on January the 3rd, 2022, we're going back to the 2.5%. Plus on the 3rd, which is Monday next week, any of you want to open a US account fixed deposit with Real Talk Group of Companies, you can now do so. Well, I suppose it started off since the 1st of December, but I kicked it back until January. So viewers, share our live stream, call your friend, call your family, tell them Real Talk with Saieed Ali is going live. It's Thursday. It's Bacchanal Thursday right here in Trinidad and Tobago on Real Talk with Saieed Ali. The Joint Trade Union Movement has delivered a letter to the Attorney General, Mr. Faris Al-Rawi, asking for clarification in matters relating to the government vaccine policy for public servants. It states that comments made by the Attorney General during a conference following a meeting with JTOM were totally inconsistent with their understanding of the meeting. In addition to those unanswered questions, answers are needed for the following questions. Now, what percentage of the public servants or public service are unvaccinated? That's number one. Number two, would all the groceries, shopping malls and business places where public servant, workers and the general public shop, would these places be also mandated to become a safe zone? Number 3, would safe zone also be included for schools, prison and landfills? Number 4, who will be performing the work then when the government removes all these public sector workers and other workers from their job? Number 5, what is the daily total death rate in Trinidad and Tobago? Of that number, how many are non-COVID related? I have been asking that. Everybody who died, are they dying from the virus, or is it that they died from a heart attack, kidney failure, failed lungs? What did they die from? And is it that you all, because money is being given to countries, that after they pass a certain level of debt or COVID patients, you are collecting this large sum of money? So is it because of money is being handed out to countries when they pass a surplus figure, you all in the Ministry of Health just decide to jack up the price? Of not price, but jack up the numbers? You see, this is something I have been asking, not now. And JTM now decided to ask the Attorney General that. I have been asking Mr. Dial Singh that. Because gone are the days of heart attack, gone are the days of kidney failure, gone are the days of lung failure, gone are the days of illness where people are dying from in the hospital. Gone are those bloody hell days. But grey-head Terence Dial Singh would only come out on a media platform and say, well, you know, the comorbidities. We understand comorbidities, we understand the virus, but what the hell did the individual die of? Now, here's what's so saddening, A woman visited me today, and 4 of her family died 1 month after taking the vaccine. She said, Saeed, these individuals were healthy, strong individuals without any sickness. Without any sickness. 1 month after they took the vaccine, they just started to bleed. I believe it was Thursday or Friday last week. They buried the last cousin. She visited my office today to let me know that. But Mr. Greyhead Terence now coming out on a platform. Well, you know the vaccine's safe and we have to take it. But one day, what they wouldn't come out and tell us, the citizen, is the side effects of the vaccine. But the Attorney General now, they saw that they bounced a wall and nobody's going for the vaccine, which we call vaccine hesitancy in Trinidad and Tobago. But the bloody hell individuals and them would not come out and say why there is a standstill. You see, the thing is, because the AG, I should rephrase it like this. Because Mr. Faris Al-Rawi is the Attorney General for Trinidad and Tobago, he feels Saeed freed him. Terence Dial Singh, who holds the portfolio as the Minister of Health, feels that somebody freed him. But he didn't realize that it's the people who put the PNM in governance. They fail to realize that. Gonzales in St. Vincent. The people elected him to govern the country. To govern the country. When he came out and said he will make vaccine mandatory. What did they do with him? He had to leave and go to neighboring country, Barbados, to nurse his medical box head and wound and all kind of thing that he got. The same people that elected him into office is the same set of people that run him out of the country. So that is why I said, and I will keep on saying this, our Prime Minister and our Attorney General, they want to stir a bacchanal, they want to stir a war in Trinidad and Tobago with the vaccinated and the unvaccinated and making it mandatory, but they ain't know what they're doing. They feel because they are in power, nobody can do them nothing. Gonzalez thought the same thing. The very same thing he thought, that I will make it mandatory and they will have to do it. Little did he know he had to fly out to nurse injuries by the same people who put him into power. So these two individuals, let them jump on a horse and play the untouchable. Kola, good night.
Saeed, good night.
Go right ahead, darling.
Saeed, I want to take this opportunity to wish you and your family all the best for 2022, which will be a rough year.
Same to you, my dear.
It's going to be tough, but all blessings bestowed upon you in your endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Saeed, every time you talk about something in this country, everybody jump on party. You're against PNM or you're against UNC.
Correct.
This have nothing to do with party.
No.
This is fact.
Correct.
We suffering in this place.
Yes.
And Stevie Wonder could see how we suffering in this place. But everything is politics and party. Right? They bring in, you hear they bring in 300 buses?
Yes.
Saeed, where these buses going to drive? We hardly have roads in the country for the vehicles we have here that we imported, roll on, roll off, and locally assembled. Traffic jam, all how you turn in this country. No roads, and the few roads we have is in deplorable condition. Nobody seen it to fix. No minister who coming around in time for election. No counselor, you don't know who is the counselor. Your vehicle mashing up every day, but 300 buses come in.
Correct.
What they're doing with these 300 buses? 200 motorbikes came, Saeed, in the police service.
Yes.
How much motorbikes we see on the road?
True, true.
We hardly seen police vehicles on the road. So what's going on? Now flour going up. I tell you, 2022, it had tighten your belt, you know. We won't have no belt.
You gotta use string.
And I hope all who study in party, I hope they feel the brunt of it.
Thank you, my darling.
All the best to you, Saeed.
Thank you, my darling, so much. You see, and like I have been saying, it's not about party. I have nothing against the PNM. I have nothing against the UNC. I have nothing against the PDP or whatever party in Trinidad. What I have problem with is the individuals who are holding the portfolio to govern. That is the problem I'm having. You are not doing your job properly. You are not coming out and telling the people what they need to know. Trinidad and Tobago is dying for transparency. But do we have it? No. Because every time you ask a minister a direct question, it's like, we don't have the answer for that. Or don't ask me that question. You know, we Prime Minister are famous for that. But here it is, this is just an update on the National Flour Mill. National Flour Mill has again adjusted its new price of flour. While a price increase will happen come January 3rd, 2022, it will not be as high as announced yesterday, being Wednesday. Now, instead, National Flour Mill has announced that the price of retail brand like hibiscus flour will now increase by 10%, down from 19%, and its ibis flour will see a 17% increase, down from 19%. The National Flour Mill said this change come after it took another look at the proposed price increase, which was revealed yesterday, being Wednesday. However, the NFM said this limit to its planned price hike will mean that the company will be forced to continue to find ways to keep operating costs down. So viewers, they are trying their best to see how they could manage it. And I do want to wish them all the best, because wheat have been increased around the globe. Now, the Supermarket Association of Trinidad and Tobago, SAT, have noticed that while they understand the circumstances leading to the increase in flour prices, they hope that all stakeholders will try their uttermost best to minimize the effects of these globe forcing on local consumers. President of the Supermarket Association, Rajiv Dipti, also states that there is no hard and fast rule for a supermarket to increase or to raise the retail price of flour. Now, they are trying their best to keep it down. We're supposed to have an interview with Rajiv. We are trying to get him on the line. I know he's a busy man. And we want to hear from him what is the plan for the supermarket industry in January, come January 3rd. Now, National Flour Mill say they will try to maintain the price. They have decreased some pricing thus far. So from a previous 90% increase, they have dropped it by 10%. So Ibis flour will be 10% increase. That's hibiscus will be a 10% increase, while Ibis flour will see a 17% increase, down from 19%. So, we are trying to get Rajiv on the line right now. Once we get him, we will let you know. So, viewers, I'm going to tell you something. It's going to be a bleak 2022. But nevertheless, we have some bacchanal story for you. Now, moving along, when we get him, we will come back. So, viewers, Health Minister Terence Diazing have described the recent incident involving the MV Ocean Pelican as complicated, and that he has been advised by lawyers not to speak about it. Now, I will tell you something. When bars was shut down in Trinidad, our Prime Minister said that they will drink and they're going to misbehave and they are going to act in such a manner that will cause the COVID-19 to spread. Good. So if the bars have been shut down at that period in time, and the Prime Minister said it's going to cause the spread of COVID-19 through gathering, now that the bars are open and it is a safe zone, I believe cruise, going down the island and all these kind of things, I believe it is still banned. So why is it so hard for the Health Minister to come out and say something? Why? Is it because the individual is a son of a minister? So Terence have to zip his blasted mouth? Because he might get kicked out of ministership? The other state that the matter is currently before the DPP and was advised by lawyers not to say much. Let me tell you something, Terence. You will not say anything. You know why? Because of the fact that that is the son of a minister. You will zip your mouth like if somebody zip up a zip. But nevertheless, viewers, we're going to hold on that story. We have the supermarket president, Mr. Rajiv Dipti, on the line. Mr. Rajiv, good night to you, sir.
Good night, Saeed. Good night, Trinidad.
My friend, before we go further, I just want to say season's greeting to you and your family and the best of luck in 2021, my brother.
It was a very challenging year, and I wish that everyone can have a better one going into 2022. Season's greetings to you and your team as well. Good work.
Thank you, my friend. So I have two questions for you. Number one, what are your thoughts on the upcoming increase in flour price?
Well, we would have seen with the development today, Saeed, from the Ministry of Trade, is going to work with national flour mills on this issue. Now, our position was very cut and clear. We understand the reason that national flour mills is calling for a rise in the.
Now, Mr. Rajiv, I do apologize sincerely, but there's some sort of a break connection somewhere. We are not hearing you clearly. Viewers, we're going to cut his call, and they are going to try to call him back. So we'll just give them a couple seconds to try and get him back on the line where we could hear him clearly, and you will also understand what he is also saying. You know, I mean, global prices going up right through. You know, raw material is becoming a little more hard to source, but nevertheless, there's a lot of substitution will be taking place. You know, sometimes we might have to cut down on items that we use. So, Rajiv, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me clearly, sir?
A lot better, my friend. So, as we were saying, what are your thoughts on the upcoming price increase?
I'm just going to jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
Our position from the association was very cut and clear. Mm-hmm. We understand the factors contributing to the price increases, and I don't think I need to go into it from the side of freight, from the side of cycles of production, from the cycles of, you know, this is something we've discussed ad nauseum side. So we understand why.
Yes.
We felt that one, the timing was very bad. Post-Christmas and pre-New Year 2022, it sends the wrong signals to the nation. The second thing is that the price increase itself was very onerous, coming in between 15 to 22%, averaging about 19%. Now, what we saw today was very welcomed by the Ministry of Trade, that in particular hibiscus flour will not accept a 19% increase, but rather 10%.
Yes.
And the other one was, it wasn't as great, but it's still something.
Yes.
Right, so we feel that the message has been received by corporations, so that being the government, for whom National Flour Mills is the majority owner. And we feel at this time that National Flour Mills, in its service to Trinidad and Tobago, and the core food basket of customers who depend on flour, and how that price increase in flour will have wider implications for the basket of customers, that we think it needs to be as minimized as possible while keeping in mind the operations at National Flour Mills. So this is something that, you know, we welcome, but at the same time, we have to understand the socio-economic position of the very vulnerable pockets of society.
Now, Rajiv, my second question for you, and I believe that you are in a position that you would give us a clear answer on this. Now, do you think there will be a hike in food price given the increase in bread now?
Well, we saw that Kiss Baking Company come out today and announce a 9% increase in all its products. Now,
with products, right, that are being manufactured in Trinidad, right, do you think we would see an increase in price, seeing that they have to source raw material outside of Trinidad, as how the wheat, I mean, National Flour, they contained it as much as they could?
Correct.
Right? Now we understand, I understand, and I have seen the global market where wheat have been increased. So yes, I know National Flour could not have kept it much longer before they increased, and I was expecting it. Now what I want to ask is, manufacturers in Trinidad who manufacture products in Trinidad, are we also going to see a price increase in the coming weeks in January?
It depends greatly on the National Flour Mills is particularly affected by the commodities market, where wheat trades. We've seen the increase in the price of wheat. Now, we have to keep in mind, Saieed, and we've discussed this before, that nothing in Trinidad is truly locally produced. All the inputs are foreign sourced, the inputs for production, and the NFM is a good example because wheat is the input for production of flour, right? We've also discussed the consumer palate and the appetite for import substitution, where we could see perhaps different types of flours being produced through cassava, potato, eddos, but whether it translates for real market demand is a different story. That said, a lot is going to depend on the cost of container shipping, where the cost of the landed inputs of production are concerned, because we've seen that go, and I know that the Ministry of Trade say 110% increase in the landed cost, and they've made every effort to place the tariffs at 0%. So from that side, we're going to have to keep an eye on the international demand and supply market, where not just the products, but also the containers are concerned, because there's a demand for containers that we cannot stifle at the moment, we cannot meet, and then also for the same products. So I think that in Trinidad and Tobago, we have the capacity for agro-processing, for different initiatives, but how well received they are by the public, because you have to remember, aside the real litmus test, is when a customer goes into the store, do they continue to purchase the products that continue to drive the demand to see it in the stores?
I understand.
That really is the real litmus test.
Now, I have one final question for you. I just want you to enlighten. Now, you know, the public would understand that we're saying freight have increased and shipping have increased. Now, I just want you to give the viewing public an idea how much the price of shipping a container from the US to Trinidad. Now, I want you to give them the before price and the after price because of the pandemic.
Okay, so pre-pandemic, let's look at August 2019. August 2019, the cost of shipping a container, regardless of what's in the container. So customers need to be aware of a couple of things. There's the cost of the container, and that's a fixed cost, right? And then there's the cost of what you're shipping in the container that you've negotiated from your company abroad that you're buying the goods from.
Yes.
Right? So pre-COVID, August 2019, that a container would have cost you $4,000 to ship, be it from China or America, depending on traditional supply routes. There would be some difference, but nothing great.
Nice.
Right? So now, as of January 2020, and when the pandemic was declared by the World Health Organization, and we saw a lot of countries and territories and major world powers start to backstop with their own food security, it created an urgency for containers to ship the goods that were being demanded by those nations, the European Union, the Great Britain, the America, China, right? So these territories started to increase demand, and the containers became more scarce because there is a finite amount of containers in the world.
Yes.
So it went from $4,000 and skyrocketed to $10,000 in the middle of 2020. By late 2020, it was already at $12,000, which is 3 times what we're talking about pre-COVID.
Yes.
By the middle of this year, and up to about 3 months ago, it was about $15,000 for a container. As of right now, it can go as high as $22,000 to move a container.
And now we're talking about just shipping. We ain't talking about the stocks in the containers yet, correct?
No, we're not talking about what's in the container. We're not talking about demurrage. We're not talking about additional rents and taxes and regional taxes and tariffs. We're not talking about any of that. This is what is driving the world food crisis in terms of prices, because this is what's driving prices up across the world. And not just where food is concerned, because we have to ship containers with vehicles, pharmaceuticals, materials, and this is what's having an inflationary impact across all sectors.
Now, the reason why I ask you to say that, Rajib, is because I want the citizen to understand, I want the viewing public to understand that when price increase on groceries, it's not because of the owner of the grocery wants to do it, it's because of the additional price. Now, as we said, 4,000 2019, come 2020, 14,000, 12,000 US. Look at the vast difference. So I just wanted you to say that so the public would understand, because I know this is your field and this is your industry.
And I know you know people who also import and ship containers, and they will tell you what the prices are, and it's absolutely ridiculous right now.
So Rajiv, I do want to thank you for joining us tonight. Just to clarify one or two things for the viewing public, and again I say to you and your family, season's greeting and all the best in 2022, my friend.
Happy New Year to the nation under the circumstances, and have a great and safe one. Take care, Saeed.
Thank you, my friend. So viewers, you've heard it. Why prices increase? Just imagine 2019, 4,000 US to ship a container. 2021, almost 22,000 US to ship a container. Like I said, we didn't value what was in the container, you know. That's just transition from container from Trinidad. So that is why I asked him, so you would have a fair understanding of why prices are going up. So as we finish with that, we're going to continue with Terence Singh now. Now, Terence said, Ocean Pelican, he could not say anything because the matter was complicated, and his lawyer advised him not to say much. Not to say much. So what I want to ask now, remember to go in a bar, you have to have a COVID-19 vaccinated card. You have to have that 2 vaccine. You have to have that pass. Torman, am I correct? Good. So the individual now who was on that Pelican, who was on that boat, how many of them, Trinidad and Tobago, how many of them produce, Terry, how many of them produce the vaccine card as a safe zone? That is why you would come out and tell the nation, Terence, your lawyer said don't say nothing much. Why? Because the individual who is the owner of that boat is the son of a minister. Did that 100 individual on that boat breach public health regulation? How many of them are going to be charged? Remember when the Prime Minister said to Gary, go down Bayside and charge them? Where's our Prime Minister? Is he in Trinidad? Is Kid Rowley in Trinidad? Listen to this video.
Any entity that wants to look into the issue of safe zones, and I think the issue that has been raised is one that needs interpretation, and that is why I said the matter is currently before the DPP. And that is why I have been advised by the lawyers not to say too much, because it is before the DPP and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And if anyone who is in doubt as to what they need to do to comply with the safe zone requirements, I also suggest that they get legal advice to do just that. So the DPP and the TTPS will bring some level of clarity if there is clarity to be brought. Okay, so I hope that that gives some more clarity to the issue, and let the DPP and the TTPS resolve the issue.
All I hear what that man had to say? All I hear it? Call good night.
Hi, good night. I've been listening and listening while I'm trying to pick up the TV, right? I have been paying attention to your show tonight. And I would just like to clear up one thing. As a person who was on that brunch party, and single person on that boat was vaccinated. Even the people that were serving us. So, I'm just paying attention and listening to everyone's opinion and whatnot. But I just want to say that every single person, I don't know who is the minister's son, I don't know who it was, but I do know for a fact, everybody that was listed and in the event, when they checked, we had to make sure we were vaccinated. Even the police even went over this information.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. Now, on entering the boat, there had to be somebody there that where you would have to show your pass to enter the boat.
To show my vaccination card?
All right. Now, they said that police intervened, correct? Now, did police officers, listen to my question closely, did police officers ask individuals for their vaccine card?
Yes, they did.
So did the officers see every individual that was there?
Every single person individually. When they took us to the Carnage police station, they made it very clear. They asked one of the first things after this, you know, they took everyone from the venue to the police station. They said, is everyone here vaccinated? Yes, because they were trying to find out details. Right. So they were like, well, everybody, yes. So obviously everybody could say, yes, I'm vaccinated or whatever, but no. So what they did is eventually we all had was to show our cards, and even when we were processed, they took pictures of that. They took pictures of our IDs, our cards, back and front, our information, everything. Every single person alive. Sorry. There was one person when the police officer asked, is there anyone here who is not vaccinated or can't show proof of vaccination at this moment? Whether your phone dies, you don't have your card near you, whatever is the reason it is, one man raised his hand.
Now, my dear, I would like to ask you a direct public, since we are on television, right? Now, would you find to yourself that there would have been a breach in the public health guideline by chance, seeing that it is over 10 people?
Well,
I know it's a technical question, because the Prime Minister, not the Minister, the CMO, the Health Minister is saying you can't be guarded more than 10.
All right. You listening?
I'm listening.
Right. So, it was advertised to us as a brunch event, a schedule. Right? Meaning that all COVID protocols have to be followed. I am supposed to do regular fine time, regularly. Like, if the don't have been acknowledged, I regularly, and I've been a lot of fine time. So it has 30 plus people in the thing. So, I didn't think anything of it. I see they was following. Twice while we were the event, police came, you know. The first time they came in 2 jeeps. They check the board, they check the listing, because, you know, they want to know how are you guys passing on, like, they want to make sure everything was straight. The first time they came, they checked permits, whatever, and they left. Because the boat was up the entire time, the boat never left. So that's why I would class it as a boat ride. Because it never ride anywhere.
Okay.
The boat was docked the entire time, just the venue. We got the venue the morning of the event, and when we came there, we realized it was on a boat. So, the second time they come, some of the police officers were on the ground. They board, they watch everybody, watch masks, came, check permits again. Cool, I was watching it because I hear, in fact, now, this is how my mind works. Why would I do something wrong when the police station 5 minutes away, it have one entrance out and in of Carnage?
Yes.
Like, so I was thinking on my behalf, I understand that we weren't doing anything wrong because I was following all regular COVID protocols, all guidelines.
I understand.
So the third time when the police came, the buses this time, it was like, buses, you come twice already, so why here this time? And that's when they said, turn up the music, and then they take us to the police station and whatever. So I just to say that as a person who's been seeing a lot of information everywhere on social media, I just want to clear up that part.
I understand, I understand. So you saw everything that took place?
Everything. I had on my glasses, so even better. I saw everything clearly. And
my dear, thank you so much for sharing your experience on the boat and the procedures that were followed. Now, like I said, Terrence supposed to understand that did they had their safe zone sticker up? That is one thing they need to look into. Right? Number two, there were over 10 people on the boat. You understand? So, further noted that the minister nor the ministry does not give permission or authorize to operate as safe zone. Listen to this.
The letter did not seek permission. The letter informed me that they were doing this. So let me clearly state under Section 8 of the Public Health Rules, and we said this when we launched the Safe Zone initiative, that once you download the poster that you put up, that is all you need to do, and you have agreed to operate as a safe zone. The minister nor the ministry does not give permission or authorization to operate as a safe zone. And let me correct what you asked. The letter did not ask permission. The letter informed me that they were going to operate as a safe zone.
Now, you could just drop the letter, let the public see that the letter that was sent from Adrian to Terrence the Alting. Now, viewers, we have a copy of the letter. You are seeing it on screen. This is from Adrian to the health minister, informing him of what they are going to do. Now listen to this. The Alting advised business who wants to operate a safe zone to obtain legal counsel and to read Section 8 of the regulation for clarity. He also mentioned that anyone who wants to operate a safe zone to seek their own independent legal advice. Here's what he has to say.
Because this matter is with the TTPS and the DPP, I advise everyone to read Section 8 of the regulations for clarity. So that takes care of that. No one needs to apply to the minister to operate a safe zone. No one needs permission. I would advise anyone who wants to operate as a safe zone, whether it's a party boat or not, to seek their own independent legal advice. That's the best advice I can give them.
Now listen this. This is where it comes in very interesting. While the regulation does not in fact circumvent the need for ministers sign off for individual safe zone, it does not, and I repeat, it does not give permission for a party boat to operate a safe zone. So was there a breach? Because it says it does not give permission for a party boat to operate a safe zone. Didn't Prime Minister say that no party boat will be allowed in Trinidad? Look thing there. Look at thing there. And Trinidad and Tobago, that is a floating restaurant. That is a floating restaurant. You know, it's only a cruise ship will have floating restaurant. Am I correct? I'll come now, man. Terrence, let me tell you something. You ain't no stupidity. You're a pharmacist. You qualify for a pharmacist. You ain't a donkey head man. But I'll forget what it is we saying. That is why I am here to remind you all. Terrence Diazing has stated that the ministry is bracing for an urge or a upsurge in cases beginning at the end of the first week in January based on Christmas activity. He talking about Christmas. He talking about surge for the Christmas in January, but he didn't talk nothing when Prime Minister said, "I'll come to Tobago." He ain't study that. The man blaming Christmas, he wouldn't blame Easter surge in Tobago in 2020 for the skyrocketing cases. Terry boy, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Terrence. You see, come 2022, you will get smart by force, you know. Take what I'm telling you. You say you start to buck up yourself already? You say you start to buck up yourself? You gotta watch me. Prime Minister say tighten your belt. Terry here you bar extra hole, you know. Take what I'm telling you. Now, he asked the population to be cautious for the new year so that this surge would not continue past January. Listen to this.
I am imploring persons that not to repeat what we saw over the Christmas weekend. We are now on the lookout for a surge in cases because of Christmas activities. You saw it in the newspapers and you saw it there from about the end of the first week in January. Please don't add to the burden of the healthcare system by overdoing Old Year's Night this year. Let us all be very, very circumspect in our activities. Don't gather. Please, we are imploring you, don't gather. Don't take off your mask in indoor setting amongst persons that you don't know. Avoid the Old Year's Night big lines, parties, you know. Ring in the new year very, very quietly this year. And please spare a thought for our healthcare workers.
So you hear him? Don't go to your Old Year's Night party. Don't take off your mask. But when the bloody hell Prime Minister said, look, come across in Tobago, where Terry was? Where Terry was? Terry had to close him out and lock it with his teeth. Something like this. He couldn't step out of line because the Prime Minister would have put him out of line. So hear this now. He states that the Ministry of Health has space capacity at this point in time and are putting system in place, even at the CMOH level. Listen to this.
In terms of our national testing capacity, we do have capacity in terms of spare capacity at this point in time. Generally, when we go into large spikes, you find that there is a slight delay in terms of the timeline for reporting and everything that goes with it as the number of cases increases. But we are putting systems in place even at the CMOH level. We have got additional staff so that we can actually reach out to persons quickly to get their results to them, and looking at the entire process from start to finish, from swabbing all the way back to the patient, to see if we could tighten up that a bit with getting additional staff into the mix so we can clear some of the backlog that exists.
Now viewers, if we vaccine, meaning we could move. Correct? Well said. Now, Parasham added that even though the US states that travelers entering can do so using only a rapid antigen test, the requirements for entry to TNT remain the same. It requires a negative PCR prior to entry. Listen to this.
I'm not sure that the US doesn't have the capacity to do PCR. As far as our requirements for entry into Trinidad and Tobago, it remains the same. They require PCR 72 hours prior to entry, and that requirement stands for now. I think the requirement for entry into the US allows for antigen, if I remember right, within 24 hours. But there is availability in the US, as far as I know, for PCR testing to continue.
Now viewers, there are some things that I need you all to understand. Chief Medical Officer, right, Dr. Roshan Parasham have stated that two categories of decreased patient are considered as being COVID-19 death. That will be two categories of deceased patients are considered as being COVID-19 death. He states that anyone that has passed away and has COVID test positive at that time of death will be classed as COVID positive, dying with COVID. Listen to this.
Generally speaking, and as we said before on this program, anyone that has passed away and has a COVID positive test at the time of death will be classified as COVID positive, dying with COVID positive. Anyone that would have had COVID being positive and then been hospitalized, for example, and passed away, what happens is that the clinicians make a decision and they put on the death certificate what they think is the cause of that, and that is what is generally utilized based on what the clinician sends to the ministry's central repository, which is the EPI unit under Dr. Hines. We use that data that we get from the clinicians to make a determination. They actually say that the person has died of some complications of COVID. So we use both categories together, add them together, and that's how you get deaths. We have cleared up that it's both persons dying of complications of COVID and those dying and having a positive PCR test at the time of death. So that's how we classify in the Ministry of Health.
So if somebody died of a heart attack while having COVID, you go label them as COVID-19 death, but you wouldn't put due to death is caused by heart failure or heart attack. Are you see how tricky that is? They go forget the heart attack. They go forget the heart attack, or they go forget kidney failure, but they go label it as a COVID-19 death. Because why? You have COVID-19, but they won't put a heart attack cause it. Boy, let me tell all you something. How you call that? Is that a cover-up? Me and I'm asking a question. I have COVID-19 and I got a heart attack. Oh, he died from COVID. What caused the heart? What caused him to die? Did COVID? No! It's the heart attack that caused the individual to die, not the COVID. Hey boy, let me tell you something. We have some kind of people running this ministry. I just want to know where the hell they come from. Where the hell they come from? However, it relates. It relates as the unknown deaths. For example, somebody collapsed at home or does not know that their status as swabbed and counted as a person who died having a positive swab at the time of death. But all I listen to this.
So generally there's two main categories. So persons that would die with COVID and those who would die of COVID, meaning of the complications of COVID. So we have two broad categories. Persons who would have died in hospital would be given a death certificate from the clinicians in the hospital on that side of it. Persons, for example, that would have died at home, having known their status prior to death, would be classified by a district medical officer or the attending physician, and then that data will come upstream to the Ministry of Health. As it relates to the unknown deaths, for example, somebody collapsed at your home, they would not have been swabbed before, they don't know the status. What happens is when they come in and they're brought into the institutions, they are swabbed at that point, and we count those as persons that would have died as having a positive swab at the time of death.
So Trinidad and Tobago, what really taking place? What about that asymptomatic person? Had a lungs failure, or a kidney failure, or a heart attack, and they come in now, what they go say? Oh, he died from COVID. It relates him back to the same thing I'm trying to explain to you earlier. Back to the same thing. If a heart attack kill the man and he COVID positive, oh, you know, he had COVID and he died from COVID. How the hell the man died from COVID when he had given him an attack? He had given him an attack. Heart attack. Oh God, mommy crying, daddy crying, son crying. He died from COVID. How much more duncy head we could be in Trinidad and Tobago because them is CMOs and because them is Minister of Health. Oh, what we say had to go. Let me tell you something. It had this man called Saieed Ali on Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Don't play stupid wrong him or don't come up in a conference and talk tataness. I will put you in your place one time. One time I will put you in your place. And we are doing it, not in private, you know, on live television I will do it. Because just how you use the CMO, I have a friend who next to you, partner. Don't get tied up. Don't get tied up. Don't get tied up. All the rehearsing will he's minister, partner, find out who close to you, that close to Saeed. All of us want to come up and bray like a rooster. Hey, tonight is Baccarat Thursday, you know. Here it is. Minister of Health, Terence Singh. He added now, after setting up the parallel healthcare system with over 1,000 beds, the Ministry of Health ensured that key consumables were always present, such as oxygen and test kits. Listen to this.
Our first duty was to protect healthcare workers by the provision of PPE. Trinidad and Tobago is one of the few countries in the world that never ran out of high-quality, appropriate PPE. 2, we set up the parallel healthcare system, over 1,000 beds. We will never know how many lives have been saved. We will never know how many lives have been saved by the setting up of that parallel healthcare system. Key supplies were never jeopardized, as in other countries that ran out of things like oxygen. We ensured that key consumables were always present. We never ran out of test kits.
Let me tell you something. If I tell you about some conversations I had with doctor and nurses in the healthcare system in Trinidad and Tobago, Terence Dial Singh, let me tell you something. Boy, hey, brace yourself 2022. I'm ready for all you. Again, the minister also stated that both him and the CMO engaged in talks, and as the Ministry of Health, they have done everything they could. But what needs to be done is a high degree of personal responsibility as we move into year 3 of this pandemic. Listen to this.
The CMO and I often engage in this coulda, shoulda, woulda. Everything that we did at the time, based on the information that we had at the time, I think we were spot on. But the ingredient that we need now, more than ever, is personal responsibility to stop unnecessary gatherings. The front page picture in The Guardian on Boxing Day of that throng, those crowds of people with babies en masse, children en masse, how do you account for that? So I think as a Ministry of Health, we have done everything that we could have done, but what we need now is a higher degree of personal responsibility as we move in, together with the rest of the world, into year 3 of this pandemic.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this, I want you to understand what I am about to tell you. Terence Dial Singh said the vaccine saves lives. He's saying, they brought to us that 50-something individuals who were vaccinated died. Listen to this. Hey, I just love these men here now. If you have taken your 2 doses of vaccine, 2 doses, 1 and 2, you come now and you get, oh God, Sinichi, give me a 1 minute, please. If you come now and you get COVID-19, while you have your 2 vaccine active on you, and you come and you die now with a heart attack, how they casing you? What is your case? I'll answer that for me. Terence, answer that for me. You have your 2 vaccine. You come and you get COVID-19 now, and you come and you die of a heart attack. How would they class you? Trinidad and Tobago, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, we want to wish you a happy new year from Real Talk Studios, Real Talk Group of Companies, to the viewers of Real Talk with Saieed Ali in Trinidad and Tobago and beyond our country. Happy New Year to you. Be safe. Enjoy the weekend. There is no live show tomorrow, but the 3rd of January 2022 will be right back here for Mashup Monday. Until we meet again, good night.